welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And today we are back here to discuss another great episode of Your Honor. This is season 2, episode 9, titled Part 19. So before we jump into the conversation, please make sure you click that subscribe button as well as the like button and the notification bell. Keep showing us love. We'll keep the great content flowing. And, you know, it helps to support us because we grow and reach a wider audience. So we definitely appreciate you guys showing your support. And without further ado now, we can start in the conversation with Your Honor. So, you know, this was a very good episode. We see that, you know, Eugene has gone to court. He said he wanted his day in court and he got it. So, you know, Jarek, the prosecutor, he is actually going out on a limb to, you know, make Eugene out to be an intentional killer. He's saying he went there that night with intent to kill. And it was aimed at Carlo, but, you know, Adam ended up being collateral damage. And I was like, you know, he's absolutely right. And
it's true. It's true. It's true.
It's very true.
He didn't tell a lie. That was true. He went
no,
out,
it was true. It was true.
To kill, and he did kill. Just killed the wrong person.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so it's really difficult. I was waiting to see what Lee would say, you know, to defend him, because it's like you almost really can't deny what happened.
No, you can't. No, and I, you know, we got a lot of comments last week about that, about the law being a law. I get that. I get the law being a law, but Lee's job is also to humanize him. And because he is a kid, and explain what, you know, what happened and things like that and stuff. And that's all I was saying.
Let me tell you this. She became a criminal defense attorney overnight because her opening comments.
I was like,
she cast a lot of doubt on the situation. She told them, don't trust nobody. You know, not the NOPD, not the lawyers, not the judge.
In fact, the way she went about it, I'm like, wait a minute now, you just attacked the robe, the judge. You know,
right.
But she told the truth.
No. I'm saying
right.
The way she that round robin she did with it, you know, when she came back to the lawyers and had them laugh about that, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, you became a criminal defense attorney overnight, because that argument that you had, that opening argument that you had was stellar. You could not get a better opening argument for somebody that's on trial for murder one. And
she really warmed the jury up to Eugene and made them feel for him. She's like, take care of him. You know, he's been
a
through.
Child. He's a child. That's what she said. He's a child. And one of the things that she also said, you know, it is true. He did go there with the intent to kill somebody, which is wrong and everything. What also is true is that the cops and stuff were corrupt. The cops made it seem like he was dead. They conveniently solved the case. Everybody in the situation was corrupt, including the judge. And so with that being said, all of those things should be considered when you consider the fate. Even, you know, with Gina getting on the stand, the dog whistles that she was throwing. Oh, I saw a hooded dark figure and stuff. And, you know, it reminded me what she said to Big Mo when she went in there talking about the malt liquor and stuff. So I was like, so she's throwing racial epithets on the stand. And I looked over the jury, and some Black folks in that jury.
Quite a few.
Too. And you can't talk about the hooded. Oh, it's a hooded figure, and he didn't look like he belonged at the party. The way he was dressed and stuff. So those things, she did not make herself look good
at all. And the fact that she didn't try to intervene, you know, Lee went in about that. Like, why didn't you try to intervene? And eventually she pointed out, she was like, I don't think you've seen anything at all, you know?
Well,
so,
again, but that was, to me, that was more of again, an excellent criminal defense tactic, because you could be frozen in time with something like that, which is why you didn't intervene. So again, the mere fact that she brought that up and the way she brought it up, to me, was just, again, she what was her profession? What legal profession did she have before?
Wasn't she a public defender?
No, she was like what was she, tax?
She was a lawyer. She was still a
lawyer.
lawyer.
I know she was a lawyer, but she was practicing a different type of law. And so remember, because she initially didn't want to take the case because she wasn't a criminal defense attorney. So that's why I said she became one overnight, because the way she was I mean, the way she went at Gina was just, I mean, you
even down to the transfer. Like, how did he end up in New Orleans jail?
Yeah, I mean, that
Exactly.
was just, I mean, you couldn't get any better cross-examination than that. To the point that the prosecutor had to say, "Oh,
get her off."
Right.
we need to get Michael up in here. Yeah. But the bottom line is that also your son, you're talking, oh, he tried to kill my Carlo. Your Carlo killed his brother, Kofi Brown, and because he thought he killed his brother, but the bottom line, he's talking about self-defense. He killed him
and was already
he got off scot-free. Right. And he got off scot-free. So. Yeah. You think about that, the jurors saying, of course, it is not right to kill someone. The law is the law. But this child who lost his whole entire family and his brother was killed by a man who was able to walk free.
Yep. And, he was a target of the system from the police targeting Eugene and everything. So Lee did a really outstanding job laying it out on the line and casting enough doubt to get that jury to, see Eugene.
Think about it. This as a child.
Well, I didn't see any doubt casted. What I saw is the humanization of that little boy. And if she keeps that up, I think that that's what's going to get him off. Well, let me put it this way. It's
for less time.
It's the law. It's the law against humanality. So if she can keep painting him as a victim as opposed to a victimizer, that.
And that's what I mean by casting doubt on his, like, he is a victim.
He's still a victim, but he also still committed a crime.
Exactly. Exactly. I can see that point to y'all in the comments with the laws a lot. He might still get off having a good time, but should he have to spend the rest of his life, like 30 years? No, he might end up going to juvie behind this, or having a lesser sentence. And I wasn't saying that he should not
on the judge
dealt with at all.
Hopefully the judge will adhere to everything Lee is saying and impose a softer sentence and maybe even juvie. He's going through some time because the community would demand that. If
of course, listen, I know the law is the law. He still killed someone. Still killed someone, and so there's going to have to be some repercussions. But I do think he might end up getting lesser time. But also, if Michael comes up in there though, and which they're trying to get him on the stand, and all of the court cases that he's done and everything, and the system comes up, stuff could possibly get thrown out because the fact that he arranged for Carlo to get off, he threw that trial and everything. So all those things, he may get off on a technicality. He may.
Right. That's because Lee is really.
I don't see the technicality because you're talking.
It is a technicality, though. I think because of who's in charge of the case. Like Michael's lies and misdeeds does put a wrinkle in things.
It put a wrinkle. The whole thing. The cops pretended that he was dead. They stole a body. All these things.
Yeah, but he himself is. See, Eugene is really up for premeditated murder. He went there to kill.
Yeah, he did.
Premeditated.
Yeah.
It's different if he went there, say, to fight or went there to argue and took a gun in the commission of the argument or the fight and shot somebody. That's not the case. The case is premeditated murder. It's murder one. So I don't see how what Michael says would eliminate.
So remind you of what Lee is asking, because Lee is not asking him to go up there and tell the truth.
But she wants him to go and lie. And
she's like, you did it before, you can do it again. Do it for a good cause this time.
But you know what? Here you go, and you give this stellar cross-examination. Your opening argument was excellent, and then you're going to go to an ex-judge and tell him to lie.
He's done it before, though. That's what her whole point is. You've done it before. Do it for a good cause now. And the fact that she asked him that in front of Liz had me in stitches, because she's like, you want him to go up here and defend the killer of my grandson, his son? So, I was like, it was a bold ask, but, it's a very desperate situation. And I think Lee's whole point is, okay, Eugene did it. He did have premeditated murder on his mind, but at the same time, this boy deserves a second chance. So I think that's the whole point of the scenario, to try to get him, as least time as possible. And so he can have an opportunity to have a second chance at life.
And not only that, Liz is going to learn something if Michael gets on that stage, because that's a whole lot of stuff that
everybody gonna learn something.
I mean,
absolutely.
You seen how Theo went back at Jimmy afterwards and was like, "Is this stuff true? Did you inherit the business from grandfather and whatnot? And did you have a role in the family house getting blown up, the Jones family?"
And to which Michael,
I'm sorry,
but he lied. She did. Gina did.
Huh?
Gina did.
Yeah.
She had his house blown up.
Well, I mean, Jimmy said it was a gas leak. Yeah, it was a gas leak, but y'all provided the leak.
Right. No, not y'all. Gina did.
You don't think he knew anything about it? Jimmy? You don't think
when it happened, he knew it was her. And that's why, but he's not going to say to his daughter that your mother did that. And that's why he said it was a gas leak. So he told part of the truth.
Your mama did it. Your mama did it.
Right. But he's not going to do that.
On Front Street. Your mama did it.
He's not going to do that because he didn't even tell, even remember, Michael even asked him, why didn't you tell Fia that my role in the situation with Adam and stuff? Yep. And he was like, I didn't want to sully her image of Adam. Yeah, but it looks like if y'all saw the previews for next week, she about to find out next week what happened with Adam. And she was calling Michael a liar and everything. In the previews, I was like, oh Lord. She didn't found out either from court.
You and your son. She said you and your son.
Yeah. It's about to get hot. Yeah. So and I was just like, it's crazy that it went down that way, because I think Jimmy was also, not trying to tarnish Gina's image with Fia, but he and Gina had a little interaction before court, and she was like, she said she didn't want him to come. She was explaining to Carmine how he is no longer part of, her vision of the family. And so I think Jimmy is trying to tread lightly with Gina so that he doesn't, pour more gasoline into the flame, because she's very unpredictable. And I think he's trying to be very calculated in how he approaches things with her. So I think that's also why he withheld that from Fia.
His father still seems to understand the complexity of what their relationship is bringing forth, but he also understands that Jimmy is the head of that household, and I think in as much as he tries to stay out of things, he does get his hands dirty. But I think what he really wants to see is he wants that household to sustain itself, and he knows it can't happen unless Jimmy's there. So I was glad to hear that conversation in the car, except that it seems like everybody kowtows to Gina, give Gina what she wants. I'm getting a little tired of that scenario myself. Somebody's got to
it's coming, I'm sure. It's coming. What did you guys think about Jimmy asking Michael to be his right-hand man?
I thought that was a very good idea for Jimmy. Now, let me say this. My mama used to say, be careful of the company you keep. So even if Jimmy was sincere in trying to go straight and wanting somebody like Michael, who has the intelligence and the wherewithal to help his business,
the legal background.
However, Jimmy Baxter is still Jimmy Baxter, and you have to be careful about the company you keep, because you are who you hang around. So
look, I was going to ask you guys too, do you think Jimmy is even a little bit onto what Michael has going on, trying to flip him? Because he's seen the phone from the message from Bestie. And then, he also was asking him a lot of things, just his line of questioning. It's kind of it seems like it's one of those keep your enemies close scenarios.
Yeah. And I think now that Fia went and spilled the beans that the USA, oh my goodness, I'm scared for Michael, for Charlie, for
Yeah.
all of them, because
Yep.
he immediately put the kibosh on the deal, said he couldn't come up with the money or whatever. We knew what that was. But you know, I was like, oh, and that's it.
You know what?
And Mike was on the phone and
But
stuff.
to me,
And Olivia shows up at all willy-nilly at the house. She's always pulling up on Michael and stuff. I'm like, she gonna get him killed.
but what
Yes.
that said to me is kind of relieving Michael a bit, because now that Fia did exactly what she should have done, and Jimmy doing exactly what he should have done, which is shut down everything that he's doing. That kind of puts a relief on Michael, because in theory, they're going to have to go straight for a few minutes to get the heat off.
But he gonna think that Michael was playing him, because
I
he gonna
don't
say,
know. I mean, I don't know
because now he gonna start questioning how Michael got out of jail. He's gonna say
he already asked that question.
Yeah,
Remember, he already asked that question.
but now he knows for certain he's been watched. Now he knows that Michael's
He
coming to
also
see
knows
him.
that
Michael
Fia,
is checking the phone in front of him.
Well,
He's gonna start looking at Michael.
I don't know, because Fia said the agent came to me and started asking me these questions, and I did not give up any answers. So, you know, that right there, whether Michael has anything to do.
But Michael was there. Fia probably also told him that the only reason why she stopped is because Michael said, I'm her counsel, this, and the other. Yeah. Jimmy can also say, well, you came to see me and we had a conversation. We went for a ride. Why didn't you say that an AUSA or something was questioning my daughter and you had to step in and shut it down? Michael did not divulge that information. So the fact that he didn't divulge,
but he did shut it down, though.
But he didn't. He shut it down, but he didn't divulge it to Michael. So Michael's gonna be looking at him like, why didn't you tell me?
But Jimmy did. I mean, but Michael did exactly what Jimmy wants from him. He wants the legal mind so that he can do the things that he did.
He shut it down. He didn't.
He shut it down. Well,
well, Michael was going to be on the fence about that deal either way, because he's sitting up there like, you know, this deal feels like I'm going to have to sacrifice something. And he was that line that he had in the show, he was like, sometimes you feel like there's a gun to your head, even if there isn't, you know. And I was like, you know, he really feels backed into a corner. And then even talking to Carlo in the car and learning more about, like, you know, with Carlo being the muscle, so-called, and Michael's supposed to be the brains. It's destined to fail, though, because he was like, you know, Carlo, you get caught.
I don't blame him, you know.
He made it sound like Carlo was a dummy. He was like, no, because you're going to get caught.
Yeah. And he also let them know that, like, even if you aren't aware of what the Calibri family is doing, supposedly, you know, ignorance is not a defense. So it was going to fail either way.
But somebody got to help me out with that analogy that Carlo had when he said, if somebody brought a bag and put it in and left it in front of your house and you didn't touch it, and then somebody came along and took it, are you
culpable? That's not a crime.
Yeah, he's basically trying to say that, you know, you have plausible deniability because you don't know what's in the bag.
Here's the thing.
That's not true, though, because it's on your property.
It's called the burden of proof.
He said car smuggling.
And suppose someone put that bag on your porch by mistake. So it doesn't make you a criminal just because somebody puts a bag there. So I was a little confused with the analogy and what he was trying to say, because Michael comes back later on and says, you know, to the effect that ignorance is not right. Ignorance is not a defense for a crime. But who's to say I knew? I mean, you know, look, I've had Amazon come up and put somebody else's package on my step many a time. Mm-hmm. So, you know,
but we're talking about a huge load of drugs.
It doesn't.
How can you deny that you don't know that that's happening?
If someone took it, but remember, I didn't touch it, and somebody came along and took the bag, that doesn't make me culpable. Somebody could have found out that the bag was left by mistake at another home. It's called burden of proof, and to me, you don't have enough to.
But sometimes your reputation being what it is isn't helpful.
But that
That
wasn't his,
Baxter
but
name
that
is enough
wasn't,
for them
but
to
that was
cast
not
doubt on
his
him.
analogy, though. See, that's what I'm saying. I was just looking at the bare simplicity of his analogy. And just based on his analogy, it didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it made sense to me. And I was like, Michael's absolutely right. You ain't getting away with it like you think you are.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. But, the way he made the analogy, it was anyone, suppose a person, it was not, as I said, we can get into I don't want to get any deeper into that, but it just didn't make a lot. To me, it was a weak analogy. Let me put it that way. It was weak.
Well, I thought it was interesting too that he mentioned that Harry the Hook situation, and he was like, that's only applicable in certain states. And so Michael was like, yeah, I was just messing with you.
He's not so dumb. At least he did his homework.
No, yeah, he's not. He did research it. He did research it. He did research.
Well, may have done it out of fear. So you're right. So
yeah, he was scared. He was like, "Oh Lord, I can try for double jeopardy." But I was gonna say I saw an interview with Bryan Cranston maybe a week or so ago, and he did it with GQ, and he was talking about what drew him to this role, and he was just saying that the idea that straight-laced judge that could be driven into crime to protect his family, his son, and he asked himself, like, would I do this? Would I commit a crime to protect my child, my my children? And he was like, yes, I would. And I think it was just, I mean, I can relate to that. I think most folks who are parents and stuff, and if they had to put their life on the line or whatever to protect their children, they would. And it's just, he just summed up the whole of this story.
He also kind of said that in the episode, though, when he was talking to Jimmy, and he was saying, when I was in jail, I replayed, what I would have done differently, all my regrets. And he said, I should have just taken that bullet that night at the arena and let Adam, the secret would have died with me, and Adam would still be here.
Right. And that's what made me think about it too. I was like, wow. I said, what he's saying is like the whole basis for this show. And what he said in that interview, like, yeah, that appealed to him. And because most people who are parents or whatever, I think they would think like that. Like, oh, if this means saving my child's life, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to protect my child.
Yep. When your back's against the wall, you do strange things.
I agree. It's just that, the domino effect of the illegality of what you do.
Yes.
And, you don't think about that domino effect. You're not. It doesn't just effectuate one person. It's a multiple.
A lot of people.
That's what makes this show so good.
No, it's true.
You think about the families going to war, Desire and the Baxter family. I mean, they probably already have frictions because of the racial divides in New Orleans and division and stuff. But the fact that Kofi, who was part of Desire or whatever and stuff, and then Carlo and everything, like this whole, it was a domino effect, all because of that situation that started with Adam.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? That comes to think of Genesis. It all started with Adam, didn't it? But were we going to talk about Chris?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Desire, Big Mo, Chris, Lil Mo, all this stuff they got going on. So, Chris is plotting, with his crew to take down Big Mo. And he kind of like approaches Lil Mo, and he's basically like, what side you on? And it's, surprised me that, Lil Mo, even though he got beat down and kicked out of Desire, he still says, I'm Desire for life, in or out. And at the end of the day, Big Mo is still family. Blood is blood.
Family. And they're like, Chris, you tripping. You really think he ain't gonna go against his family? I mean, yeah, she whooped his butt and kicked him out of there, but at the end of the day, blood is thicker than water.
And he even had the conversation with Big Mo and was like, you blew off a good deal to impress your girlfriend, but you should have just rolled with the plan. And so at first you could see that he was trying to come to her and maybe hip her to the situation. So what happened later on didn't really surprise me when they were at the the warehouse getting ready to make the deal with Roderick. And, Lil Mo pops out of nowhere, acting as if he's now in charge of the organization. And so Chris is there as well. And then out comes Big Mo. And, to everybody's surprise, she let it be known that she's still running things. And Chris had to, take what he had coming. It's unfortunate that he had to die, but he asked for it. You don't go up against somebody like Big Mo and not expect consequences.
Yeah, he was pissed off because of what happened to his brother and everything. But he trusted that Lil Mo was gonna go against family, which he wasn't. But you see that Lil Mo was not able to finish him. Big Mo had to do it. And I think too, he probably thought about the fact that he had just gone to Chris's house, hugged up on his mom to give her condolences for the younger son. Yep. And then to have to kill the older brother, that poor woman, they lost two sons.
Yeah,
I know. That's the part that kind of hurt me bad, because I was like, dang, this is just a cycle. It continues. And it's like, Black people go through so much trauma, and here we are inflicting it on one another. So it was like, the storyline, you kind of like roll with it because he had it coming dealing with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you feel for him because it's like, dang, this is a horrible cycle of violence.
Well,
and look at how many people
he goes out like a G and says "F you" to
Big Mo.
Big Mo, and I'm like, okay, is that the last thing I want to come out of my mouth before I die?
He knew he was gonna get the bullet either way. So
he knew it was going.
I know, but that's not the last thing I want on my conscience. I don't know. Yeah,
right. I might say a prayer or something.
Yeah, anything. I'm not. Well, he's a G. He's not going to beg for
right.
it.
That's what I said. He wasn't going to show weakness. And the thing is, his situation is very much like Eugene's. So we're gonna see what Eugene's punishment is going to be, because he was acting out because his younger brother got killed. His younger brother got killed as a result of what Big Mo and her team did with the things, and he was exacting revenge on her for that. Same with Eugene. Eugene was trying to exact revenge on Carlo for killing his brother and family and stuff. So we're gonna see what the consequences are gonna be for Eugene.
Yeah.
I would just think Chris might have thought about it a little more before he went smashing up her place. Have some alliances, figure out who you have.
He thought he did.
Well, he did. He had, when he pulled up on Lil Mo, he had some people with him.
And
you see what happened. You see all those people were lined up and killed too. You see Roger roll by like,
yeah.
Keep this moving. Right. It was like, this ain't my business.
He got out of Dodge.
He was like, it ain't my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. And, now that Big Mo has also suffered a little heartbreak with Janelle this episode, because, she tried her best to make amends. And she was basically saying, I want you to love all of me. Like, this is what it is. This is who I am. And Janelle was basically like, we are our best when we are with each other. But this side of you, I can't overcome. And so she had to decline the engagement. And I know Big Mo was so hurt because, she talked about how she bought the club, for her family legacy, but also the stage was dedicated to Janelle. And so to go through all of that, to, try to please this woman, to try to be with her, to build a future with her, and to get shut down like that over her lifestyle.
But you can tell she was never for that lifestyle. Like when she intervened about like what is going on? She never was for that lifestyle. I'm sorry.
No. And what I wanted to make the same point in the sense that, you have to understand who you're with. And basically Big Mo was saying that about her, about herself. This is who I am. And then it comes to bear about, then why, Jay, were you with her in the first place? You had to have known who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're saying that, but a lot of women do that. Like women, so think that they're idealistic. Not all of us, but some of them think like, oh, this person will change, or you love that part. Like she said, you love that part of them that you're our best selves and stuff. And I think she finally decided to end. Can I live with this? And then The answer was no.
Yeah,
Right.
treat your life like a math problem. People are going to add to it or subtract. People are going to multiply or divide. And when you look at it that way, you don't have to make that decision later on where your life is in jeopardy now. You know, who knows what Big Mo might think of Jay after all of this. You know,
well, guess what? Guess what? We got something coming that might give you a hint as to what Big Mo thinks about Jay. So we are happy to announce that we actually have an interview coming with the character that plays Big Mo. Her name is Andreen Ward Hammond, and she gave us an interview about her character on this show. So look out for that. Click that notification bell because you are not going to miss, not going to want to miss that interview when it drops.
I mean, to tell you, it's mouth-watering.
Yes, it's really good, and she gave us a lot of info on the backstory of her character. You know, giving us her mind frame as Big Mo and what Big Mo is thinking. So that is an outstanding interview. You guys, like I said, you're not gonna want to miss it. But yeah, I think Big Mo is gonna be ruthless going forward. And I also want to send a shout out to Janelle's character, the young lady that plays Janelle, because she can sing. I mean, she was tearing it up on stage.
Yes, she can. Yes, she can.
Yeah, she's a jazz vocalist, which I happen to love. So, you know, a lot of the songs she was singing on the show, I'm singing right along with her. My wife said,
listen, that's one
my
thing.
wife told me to shut up. But,
I guess you don't sound like her.
That's all right. I'll make it one day.
That's one thing you do love about New Orleans, like
the
culture, and then the live music and stuff. You can go and hear live music and everything and stuff. I would love to see. I would go see a Janelle. If I was on, I definitely would go.
Yeah. So you know, I think that we can start formulating our who can get the hands list and who can get the game ball. So Gina, she got a permanent spot in my mind on the who can get the hands list. Yeah, I think who else do I want to put Olivia on there because I don't like how she pops up on Michael all the time.
I know. She's putting him at risk. She's always putting him at risk. I don't like it either. Do y'all agree with well, I mean, it's expected. That's her family. I guess she would. Do y'all agree with Fia's decision to tell her father?
I agree. That's still her father at the end of the day. And she also doesn't really know the gravity of what they do. So she doesn't know who to believe. Do I believe this AUSA who would tell me anything? Or do I believe my father? Like I came to you, I asked you what our family is involved in. I don't want to see us fall apart as a family. So, you know, I think she is in a tough spot. So I don't fault her.
Definitely. And she's only 17.
Yeah. I think for the game ball, who do I want to give the game ball? I think I'm giving Lee the game ball. She did her best to try.
Yes. Lee deserves the game ball. She really does.
She does. The way she ripped into Gina. Anybody can do any harm to Gina, just get the game ball. So she ripped into Fia. I think that with all the circumstances that around her, and she's trying to hold things steady, I think that loyalty that she showed to her family by telling Jimmy what's down the pike for him, I give her the game ball for that, you know, because she was rather distant from her family, and so she understood the consequences and decided to, you know, hip him to what's coming down the pike. Okay, so Fia and Lee get the game ball. Gina's on who can get the hands list along with Olivia.
Do y'all want to put Chris on? Does Chris deserve it? I mean, he already got the hands. He got the bullet. So
I'm not giving Chris the hands. I feel like he was trying to, you know, stand up for his family. I can't. That's it. Because he did exactly what Eugene did. You can't fault him for trying. He did. So I can't give him the hands. I can't.
Right. He's avenging his son. I mean,
his brother. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, revenge is one thing, but it's timing too. You know, if it were me, I would have waited a year. I'll be just as angry, but I would have waited a year because, you know, immediate retaliation well, who else could it be? And then you left a
Well, he left. Well, he made sure to leave evidence. Like he left evidence to say, "I want to smoke."
Right. And he shouldn't have, because if he hadn't done that, it could have been Gina, in Big Mo's mind.
If he was strategic, he could have made it look like it was the other side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my point. Why why put that smoke on you when you couldn't handle it? And that was my whole point about who do you have as backup? Can you trust those folks? Do you have enough folks? Well, anyways, we know what happened.
Yeah, they got the firing squad, and everybody that defected with him. Yeah. You see, they were dealt with.
But think about how that affects Big Mo's business, because that's less manpower to distribute the drugs, and Roderick, we seen that, he is not playing around. He's involved with the cartel. And so that's not the kind of enemy you want, especially if you can't hold up your end of the bargain.
Well,
that's a good point. Because what if he goes back to the team and said, they got some internal mess going on over there? I showed up to meet with her and it was 2 other people. They had all types of stuff going on.
Right.
That's another thing. They would be like, what kind of organization y'all running over there?
That was the question I asked Andrea, with the absence, at the time, with the absence of Lil Mo, how do you plan to continue growth with your organization, because you have all this disparity going on? So very good interview, excellent show. This episode was great. Chris got what he deserved.
I don't think he deserved it, but I think he got what was coming to him.
What was coming? Exactly. I mean, he put himself in that position.
Yeah.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
I'm also kind of wondering, because I think the wild card here that hasn't been brought up is Nancy too, because we seen she was sitting in the courtroom listening in, and she knows the real deal too. So she's a wild card in this situation.
Yes, she is.
Because she knows from both ends. She knows what Michael did, and she knows what Beth did. Yep.
Yeah. That's why I said that when I say like the technicality and stuff, like it could end up being like a mistrial. That's what I mean, because all of the other stuff that went on.
I want to know what they did with Beckwith too. She called last we seen him. They were out under the bridge, and she had him handcuffed to something, and she told the people to come pick him up. But we never really got to see what happened with him. So I was like, I wonder if they might not bring him back up into trial and expose all of his dirty dealings and cast some more doubt into the situation. And even maybe if he goes to jail for Robin's murder.
Listen.
It's a lot of stuff.
I was ready to say, the OJ trial, when he got all the reasonable doubt, when they talked about the glove and talked about the stuff with the cop, with all the other stuff,
what got him off was, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Right, but I'm saying, but the glove was got him off, but there was also a lot of commentary about the LAPD.
Yeah, but that's not what got him off. What got him off was that glove. That was the
glove, and that, but a lot of that played a lot. It was a lot of stuff.
My point is, the glove was evidence. It was. So if that introducing that piece and telling, which was stupid because he already had this glove like on. And then you remember he had the
he said the glove doesn't fit. He must quit.
But it was what he had. Remember, he didn't put it on barehanded. He already had on like a I don't know what material it was, but he had a glove on that, and then he tried to put it over that. Of course, it wasn't going to fit, and that's why I say criminal defense attorneys. Man, if you got money, it's best to get the best.
Oh yeah, he had reason, but I'm just saying that that was one aspect of it. But a lot of the commentary during that time too with the jury, because the jury was, a mixed pool and everything, and there was a lot of commentary about that LAPD officer at the time, the relationship he had with Nicole, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it goes to show how.
And
that's what I'm saying. That stuff
one of the police officers' jacket carried around for a couple of days. No, those are, they do bring.
That's what I'm saying. Doubt, and that's what I'm saying. Going back to Your Honor, doubt. The NOPD
but
lied about Eugene being dead.
But that's not relative to the fact that he
Oh
murdered.
yeah, right. But at the same
It can
time,
go far in reducing his
it can
sentence.
go far in discrediting the case. I'm just saying, I'm talking about mistrial.
Everything, yes, because it's a lot of mess, and
But
it's
it
a lot
can't be a
of
mistrial,
unbelievable
though.
stuff
But
going
it can't
on.
be a mistrial because the trial is about murder. It's not about those other.
But I'm just talking about with the jury. You got to get 12 people to agree
Now you're
that
talking
this
about a
person
hung
is,
jury.
and
Now
that's
you can get
that
a hung jury.
exactly. And if
Yeah.
it's a hung jury, then it's a mistrial.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's a hung
It
jury
can be.
because one person stood out and said, "I'm not gonna send this guy down the down."
Right, and that's what could happen because somebody on that jury, with all that doubt being planted, somebody might be like, "No, I don't think
Well,
he's."
like a mama, like somebody's mama on the jury who has a son around his age can say,
exactly.
y'all did all this to his family, and then you don't expect him to come back and revenge that. That's the whole point. The point is
that's why I was saying I would take, the chances at court. Like the law, I hear y'all.
To the situation.
But there's other things at play here. The police were corrupt.
In reality, though, black as he is,
as black as OJ was, he still got off.
OJ had a dream team.
And it was doubt. Doubt was
well, look, I don't want to get too far in the weeds.
Right.
We can go on all day. Let me close out because we can talk more offline.
Right.
But I just want to thank the viewers for watching. Please make sure you drop down in the comment sections and give us your thought on this episode as well as the remainder of the season. Be on the lookout for our interview with Andreen Ward Hammond, who plays Big Mo. So click that notification bell right now. You are not going to want to miss that. Also follow us on our social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all over. So keep up with us on all those platforms and make sure you are back here next week, same time, same place when we come back to discuss episode 10. So have a good night, guys. Thanks a lot.
I'm gonna take a glove. We'll take our gloves off. Tiffany and I will on. Kiara has to come in and referee. So the gloves are off right now, at least till next week. See you.
Bye. Bye.
Yo!